Hey everybody, welcome to Ghost in the Cloud, our anime podcast. My name is Bridget.
And I'm John.
And each week we're going to discuss a different anime show or movie. We're going to give our reviews and share some of the latest and greatest news of the anime world.
Anime, as most of you know, is a style of animation that originated in Japan. It was popularized in the States with the release of Astro Boy in the 60s, and since then, anime has exploded into our pop culture. It is our love of anime that has driven us to start this podcast.
For this intro episode, we're going to share our first experiences with anime.
Growing up, I think I was too young to know what anime was, so Pokemon, Sailor Moon, I definitely think my first experience with anime were those two, but I didn't recognize them as anime. I saw them as just another cartoon, very catchy and lovable. So while they were a big part of my childhood, they were definitely not my first experience with anime. Mine, I think I was closer to high school, and I think my first loves were Trigun, and a lesser known one, Full Moon was Sagashite. Trigun, I think, is more mainstream, so most of you may know it.
Trigun had a connection with me because, I don't know, in a way, it reminded me of the show Smallville. It reminded me of Superman a little bit. I know in a crazy way, some people who have seen the show are kind of like, what are you talking about? They were both about saving the day, and they never put themselves before another person. One thing that the main character in Trigun believed in was that you can save everyone, the good guy and the bad guy. He didn't believe in taking a life. He was very against it. Every life has meaning. Every life is important.
Full Moon was Sagashite, more of a tearjerker. Main character is, a girl that she finds out in the very first episode that she only has a year to live, and she has two Shinigami, or demigods, they're considered like reapers, that they tell her that she has this year to live because of cancer, and they basically support her in living her last year to the fullest. It was her dream to become a famous singer, to find this one boy that she grew up with that moved away. She believed that she became a big singer, that he would be able to find her. And it's just, even though it's kind of cliche and it's very kiddie in a way, you know from the very first episode that it has to be a tearjerker, and it really wins your heart.
That show was an eye-opener for me, the potential. I was like, wow, this is what anime can really do to you.
My first experience was Pokemon. That was pretty much my first start into the realm of anime, and it was hard to sort of pull away. What young boy doesn't really dream of being an adventurer, and the fact that you get to hang out with your trusty sidekick Pokemon. Pikachu is probably a household name also now. That was definitely my first experience. For those wondering, Charmander all the way. But now I had moved when I was young, so after moving, our house sort of upgraded to more than just basic cable, and I was introduced to Cartoon Network and the time block Toonami on Cartoon Network specifically. Back then, the two animes that really got things rolling and got me into the larger world of anime was Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Well, Sailor Moon is maybe not exactly meant for boys, but Dragon Ball Z, that is one of my all-time favorite animes. It's got great action. It's got good storytelling, although it does drag at times. But there was definitely a time in my early life when I would wish upon wish that I was in fact an alien from another world, and that I too could have powers by simply training my body.
I'm actually going to confess right now that I have never seen Dragon Ball Z, but I do hear from countless people, people my age, that it was their starting point. And, I grew up on Pokemon and Sailor Moon, and then, the real driving point for me was those two animes, Trigun and Full Moon. But I just never went back to Dragon Ball Z, and I was thought that, it's been so long. There's so many millions of episodes now. Is it too late for me to go back? And I'm sure everyone's going to say right now, no, it's not.
It's definitely not. So, and, it's crazy to think about. Pokemon is 21 years old. Dragon Ball Z, if I'm not mistaken, was created in the late 80s. I think it's on its fourth current generation of shows. We've had Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and now Dragon Ball Super. There's been probably 20 side stories and stuff, and it's hands down one of my favorite of all time. And they even had a remastered one called Dragon Ball Z Kai that was sort of re-edited to be a quicker show, because in all of these long-running shows, you definitely have a lot of downtime. And that was probably the biggest fault of Dragon Ball Z. But that being said, we're definitely going to touch on that further.
Yeah, you'll introduce me to the wonders of the show, and we will definitely have a discussion on it. Because I feel that, especially since we grew up with we were the same age of the show. The show existed as long as we have. We need to take the time, and I will watch it to its fullest, and we'll have an episode on it.
We're fortunate to be close to New York Comic Con, where every year we've been going. You see the love of these animes, and it's really crazy to think about how far this specific, genre of animation has reached.
Like, I'd say the percentage of people dressing up as anime characters at New York Comic Con it was significant. The last couple years that we dressed up as anime characters, we had people running out to us, like jumping in, taking pictures together. They're like, I know what you are. I dress up the same character.
Yeah,
people really relate to it now. It's become just a big part of our pop culture.
So that's it for today, guys. The format's going to be different, but we hope you join us and continue to listen. For our first official episode, we are talking about Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 movie.
You can get in touch with us. We have an email. It's gitcanime@gmail.com. We'd love to hear any comments, any questions, any suggestions. Our new episodes will always be up on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can just search for Ghost in the Cloud. We're also on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for GITC Anime and we'll pop up. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to know what your first experiences in anime were.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.